Ladies and gentlemen, the person that you see on my screen, this story comes out of Minneapolis, and a Twin Cities mother told investigators that she pushed her 11-year-old son off the balcony of her fourth-floor apartment Monday because she was in a fit of rage and she lashed out at her disabled son. How do you guys feel about that? Just based on that, that's literally the gist of the story, but I have a few more details for you guys. I could tell you a little bit more. If you paid attention to the title of the video, then you guys know that her son is autistic. As of this moment, he survived this very high drop that his mother pushed him out of the balcony. So he is alive, which this is a positive story. Finally, we can bring you guys some positive stories. He is expected to survive, but he is severely damaged. He already was having a lot of mental hurdles, but now a lot more is going on with this particular story, okay? But yes, again, he is autistic, all right? Now, the mother's name, let me see if I can get her picture back up on the screen. This is the apartments that they were at. I can't tell whether those are good apartments or whether that's the hood. From the outside, it looks like it's a nice set of apartments, but I can't tell. Maybe people who live in the Minneapolis area can tell us, but I don't know. But again, this woman, her name is Itayvia Lloyd, who is 33 years old. And yes, we have another ghetto challenged name. I'm going to spell that for you guys. Itayvia, Itayvia. I said Demetric because it doesn't look like Demetric, because it's Demetric. Demetric would normally be Demetric as opposed to Toric. It's just a weird middle name. Her last name being Lloyd, spelled traditionally Lloyd, 33 years old, out of St. Paul. And she is charged with 1 count of second-degree attempted murder. Second-degree attempted murder, according to court documents filed in Ramsey County. Because again, the child lived, so that's a good thing. It's a really, really good thing that his body was able to survive that, okay? Now, I do hear the donations coming in. You guys know that we truly appreciate any support that comes in, and I will read those here in just a moment. That's from Keyshawn and also Mom's Fur Babies. My goodness, Mom, ooh. I love you so much, Mom's Fur Babies. If you're out there listening, I love you and thank you so much for your support. Give me a moment. I'm going to read those donations here in just a moment, okay? But for the people coming in, we're just getting started. Do me a favor and click that thumbs up. It'll help share the stream and let other people know that we're live. There's going to be a slow night for us because I keep doing these streams so late, and I really, truly apologize. I know some people are up, but the majority of our people, the AFC, is up earlier in the day, not this late at night. The mother's name, again, Itayvia Lloyd, 33 years old, out of St. Paul, is charged with second-degree attempted murder. She is also charged earlier this week with 2 counts of assaulting a peace officer for allegedly trying to punch an arresting officer and spitting in another's face as she was booked into jail. She fought grown men and spit in their face. I'm going to tell you guys, spitting is one of the nastiest things that you could really do to a person. Spitting on them. Like, I'm sorry, like if you do that, there's a chance I'm going to try to hurt you in a real bad way. It's a very nasty, disgusting thing to do. But she was arrested earlier in the week, based on what they said, with 2 counts of assaulting a peace officer and for trying to punch an arresting officer and spitting in another's face as she was being booked to jail. Now, for the people who are wondering about her name, Itayvia, it actually does mean something. Her name has a special meaning. Let me ask for the people that are listening right now. Does anybody have any idea what the name Itayvia actually stands for? because there's a reason that her parents gave her that name. Does anybody want to take a guess? A lot of people give their children names that are based on something, like the names mean something, like everybody's name means something, right? So I'll wait for you guys to post that in the comments section and I'll read what you guys have to say. But her first name, Itayvia, actually is a Swahili name. As you can see right there, her name Itayvia actually is a Swahili name. It's a Swahili name, and it's Swahili for death to my children. I promise I'm going to hell. I promise. I'm sorry. Let's move on with this story, okay? Bad joke. Her child was thrown from the balcony, but he is expected to survive. Although police say he suffered severe injuries to his legs and face, he is expected to undergo multiple surgeries as he recovers. This is certainly one of the most tragic cases that has happened during my time, said John Choi, the Ramsey County attorney, in a statement. My heart breaks for the 11-year-old boy who is recovering from his massive injuries and for this family, including the mother who stands accused of attempted murder. According to a criminal complaint, responding officers found the child described as being on the autism spectrum and nonverbal. I want y'all to keep that word in mind, nonverbal. In the courtyard of the apartment building on the 700 block of Hampden Avenue, a 911 caller thought that the boy had jumped from the balcony, so they actually reported it as an attempted suicide because they didn't know. Is that a real meaning? Yes, it's a real meaning. Itayvia means death to my children in Swahili. Yes, it's a real thing. Just got to look it up. You got to look deep into Google to find it, okay? Now, let's get back to this story. Initially, the person who called 911, who was a neighbor, thought that it was an attempted suicide. So that's what they called it in as. But the boy's legs appeared to be broken and was bloody, and blood was coming from his mouth. Now, responding officers came in and found the boy, who was only wearing underwear. I'm going to say that again. The boy was only wearing underwear. I'll actually respond to it tonight. MMO family girl, I got you tonight. I promise you. I got you. The other phone, I don't have access to the text. So if you text that, I apologize. Okay? So my fault on that. But I will get back to your email here as soon as we get done. The boy was only wearing underwear. That already is strange in itself. And he's suffering from traumatic injuries in the building's courtyard. He was conscious and breathing, but he was unable to speak. They said that he was unable to speak, but the people that walked up to him didn't know that he already didn't have the ability to speak because he was nonverbal. Okay? Now, an officer attempting to brace his neck felt the broken bones in his face. Man, that's crazy. Now, paramedics took him to Children's Minnesota, but were quickly redirected to Regions Hospital due to the nature of his injuries. The child, who was expected to survive, underwent surgery, emergency surgery, to repair at least one broken femur, a fractured jaw, and head injuries, according to authorities. He remains hospitalized in an unknown condition, and he is expected to undergo multiple surgeries as he recovers. Now, according to a criminal complaint, police pounding on Lloyd's apartment door that morning were greeted by a 6-year-old sibling who appeared to be physically unharmed. When asked what happened, he told authorities that his mother, Lloyd, and his stepmother had been fighting before Lloyd, the mother, got mad and tossed his brother over the balcony. Guys, just in that sentence alone, there is a lot of information. A lot. Because I'm going to have to read it again, and I'm going to have to break down just the sentence that you just heard. Again, guys, if y'all would do me a favor and click that thumbs up. We're still sitting under 100 thumbs up. If y'all would, we got 161 people. Can we get 150 thumbs up? That would be awesome. Make sure you guys click that thumbs up. Help share this story, okay? Make sure you guys click that thumbs up. Thank you to everybody who's already done so. First and foremost, the police come to the door. They knock on the door. There were 2 adults in the house with these children. Or at least 2 adults with one of the children who wasn't thrown out of the balcony. Okay? Not only did the other adult not answer the door, the biological mother, Itayvia, did not answer the door, but a 6-year-old boy, who was the brother of the autistic 11-year-old, answered the door for the police. That's number 1. Number 2, he was physically unharmed, so nothing happened to him. Let me see. Can you send me an email so I can send you a story? Can somebody put my email address in there? theafcmatters@gmail.com if y'all get a chance. For Chanting Colors, yes, you can have my email address. It's actually right here. Point number 3. The police asked the boy what happened. So one would have to ask, where are the parents at this point? Hashtag, where's the biological father of these kids? Because these women clearly aren't having these kids on their own. But we didn't talk about that either. So what does that mean? They said stepmother and mother. Yes, this is a lesbian couple. If for those who did not catch that. Is there something wrong with lesbian couples? In my opinion, no. You do what you want to do. Live your life. Live your truth. Do what you do. I'm one of those people that I believe in live and let live. Right? Live and let live. But statistics actually say that out of all domestic relationships, the relationships that have the highest level of domestic violence are lesbian couples. They are the most violent type of relationships that exist. Shout out to Illicit Deeds. Make sure you guys check out Illicit Deeds News, which is a fan page on Facebook. Make sure you like her page. Make sure you tell her that the AFC sent you. Shout out to Illicit Deeds. Lesbian couples are known for being very violent towards each other. Now, why am I bringing that up? Well, because you're getting ready to hear later in this story, there's a reason why I bring that up. Hashtag babies for benefits. Thank you. Why these gay women having all these kids with no man involved in these kids' lives, but yet they tend to try to murder the kids? Hashtag not all. It's not all of them. But too many of them end up just like this because they don't show any regard for the kids. Authorities asked the 6-year-old what happened. And guess what the 6-year-old boy said? The 6-year-old boy actually said that his mom, this crazy looking bitch that you see on my screen, and the stepmother, who was being unnamed here, they were fighting before the mom got mad and took her brother and threw him over the balcony. I need somebody to take a bookmark in that part of the story. Bookmark it, because we're going to come back to that point. Let's move on with the story. Police found the mother, Lloyd, in her 4th floor apartment, naked in a bathtub. Her 6-year-old son had opened the door. When Lloyd was asked about what happened to her 11-year-old son, she did not respond. Officers arrested her, noting that her manner completely changed as they were headed downtown. Yes, she got naked. And apparently this is what this ignorant bitch does. Because as you're going to hear later in the story, it's not the first time that she was just naked. And matter of fact, how many stories this month, just in March, have we done where a mother has murdered a kid and then tried to take a shower to wash off the evidence? A few of them. Sadly to say, a few of them have been just like that. Yes, that's very weird. They found her naked in the bathtub after she just tried to murder her kid. Okay, now, let's keep going. After getting dressed and heading downtown for an interview with investigators, the mother, Lloyd, spoke incoherently and in a disjointed manner about the morning's events. Now, she claimed that she didn't remember much because she had been smoking weed, but she admitted, my son was on the top bunk playing around as usual, but this morning I threw that kid off the balcony, she said. According to the complaint, he really fell. Oh. I have to read the second half of that again. She said she was smoking weed. And apparently that changed her thought process. I'm going to tell you why that's a bad thing. Because if you're going to say that weed impairs your thinking process as a mother, then any mothers going forward, if they start making a case law that try to claim that weed made them try to kill their kids, they're going to make weed illegal all over again. You're not going to be able to be in possession of it all over again. That's going to cause us to take 1,000 steps backwards. I'm just saying, that's a stupid ass thing to say. If you can't handle weed, then you shouldn't be smoking it. If you can't handle alcohol, you shouldn't be drinking it. If you can't handle whatever pills you are taking, then guess what? Now, second part about that. She said, my son was on the top bunk of the bunk bed playing around as usual, but this morning I threw that kid off the balcony. Let me say that again, because I didn't see anybody write it in the chat. She said, I threw that kid off the balcony. Verbatim, I threw that kid off the balcony. Why is that sentence important? Because she referred to her own son as that kid. That means she don't give a shit about her own kid that she got inseminated by some random man, apparently, because we don't hear nothing about the father. She carried this baby for at least 9 months, or maybe less, something close to 9 months, gave birth, and she was allowed to keep custody of this kid. And I want you guys to remember, we're not here to talk about what the fuck she was going through. Hopefully everybody understands me. Thank you for the donation. I appreciate that. Y'all heard it. But hopefully everybody understands why we're here, why we're the AFC, and why we have the position that we do. Because these children cannot speak for themselves, and this boy literally couldn't speak for himself. Nor can he defend himself against the tyranny of a mother by the name of Itayvia. She referred to him as that kid. That shows that she don't care about this kid at all. Okay? Now, at one point, she reportedly started ripping up papers on the table, and she later exposed herself. She exposed herself during a police interview, which prompted the investigators to end the interview, and that's according to the charges, because she was charged for that also. So apparently her getting naked, I don't know if y'all really understand the psychology in women getting naked like this. It goes really, really deep, because if you imagine, it does not apply to all women. So shout out to my ladies that know that this don't apply to y'all. But there's a lot of women out there that realize that the only thing that the world values about people like this is their physical nature, their body. Because men tend to go crazy over a naked bitch. So they think that in their weird kind of world, in their psyche, they feel like their nudity is going to change something. Somebody is going to feel bad for them. It's going to lessen the consequences for them. Everybody hopefully understands where I'm coming from, because that's important. Now, the mother's girlfriend of 3 years told police that the 11-year-old boy has autism and is largely nonverbal, using only yes and no to communicate. Keep in mind, they've been together 3 years. Put a pin in that, bookmark it, we'll come back to it. The woman described Lloyd as being out of her mind and not acting like herself lately, said in the complaint. The girlfriend claimed that she left that morning to run to the vending machine downstairs, and when she returned, the older boy was missing. And after searching the complex, she found him lying on the ground, where she stayed with him until medics arrived. I'm going to point out something that does not make sense with the girlfriend's story. First and foremost, for this woman to go crazy, supposedly for no reason, it's funny how the moment right before it happened, you're telling the police that you left the apartment, went downstairs to a vending machine. Apparently, you didn't hear nothing. You came back upstairs and you're like, what happened? Where is the boy? And you realize the boy had been thrown out the window, and then you go downstairs and then you go check on him. How does that make any sense to anybody? If you ask me, I smell bullshit. I smell bullshit. Okay? She claimed that she went and searched the apartment complex for him and found him lying outside the ground. Now, I'm going to tell you something. These type of women have a propensity to lie to save their own ass. So, no, I don't expect them to be honest about something that's going to get them in trouble, okay? Now, the girlfriend denied that they had been fighting. That's where this lesbian thing comes back in. That's where this violent lesbian thing comes back in. Not all lesbians are violent, but lots of their relationships are violent. Okay? The girlfriend denied, even though statistics prove that it's a high probability that they had been fighting with Lloyd that day, proposing that the younger boy had actually heard Lloyd talking to herself. Now, I have a question for you guys, and this might sound a little crass on my part. I might seem like a bit of an asshole. And you know what? There's a lot of people that can actually attest that, yes, DJ Just Jay is a little bit of an asshole sometimes when you push me. I can admit my flaws. But here's my question. If the mom was that mad, why did she take it out on her nonverbal son? If she was that mad, knowing that lesbian couples tend to fight with each other a lot, usually it gets pretty physical, why didn't she just throw her girlfriend out the window? Why throw an innocent child out the window? Why throw your own child out the freaking window? Now, some of y'all are probably going to get mad about what I just said. Some of y'all might not understand where I'm coming from. And I get it. I don't expect for everybody to understand where I'm coming from. I'm just saying, instead of taking your own child and throwing your own child that you gave birth to, that can't speak for himself, nor can he defend himself, why not just throw the girlfriend out the window? If you're going to try to murder somebody, I'm just saying, murder is not right. Attempted murder is not right. But I'm just saying. Now, investigators spoke with Lloyd's 6-year-old son, who said that his mother admitted that she threw his brother over the balcony, and the child reported that the episode happened after a fight between the biological mom and the boy's stepmom. So the 6-year-old... Now, let me ask you guys a question. Let me ask y'all a real question. Let me see how many people we got watching right now. 239. Not too bad. Can we try to get 200 thumbs up, please? Pretty, please. Click that thumbs up. I have a question. Out of 3 people, between the mother, between her girlfriend, and between the 6-year-old boy, who would y'all believe is telling the truth? The baby, the mom who tried to actually commit the murder, the crazy one, or the girlfriend who was in love with the crazy one? Who do y'all believe if y'all had to hear 3 different stories? Who would you choose? If you ask me, I'd pick the 6-year-old boy. You know why I picked the 6-year-old boy? Because they haven't got accustomed to lying as much as these older people have. They don't really know the value in lying. Children don't know the value of lying. They have to be taught that. And with him being 6 years old, I'm assuming that maybe he doesn't know the value of lying just yet. So look at the chat. Everybody is saying that they will believe the baby over the 2 adults. And I agree. But that's why I also said that. Okay? Now, she said that Lloyd was acting out of her mind Monday, but she denied that the 2 of them had been fighting, which I think is bullshit. The stepmother said she found the 11-year-old child on the ground on the balcony and stayed with him until medics arrived. She found him on the ground outside the balcony. But in a second interview with police on Tuesday, the mother, Lloyd, told investigators that her behavior in a previous interview was an act. How about that? So she's admitting that she lied and she tried to play them. Here's the thing. The mother said that she was enraged by a fight that she had with her partner when she snapped and pushed her son over the balcony. Now that she admitted that she lied, which also means that the girlfriend lied to police, shouldn't the girlfriend also get arrested for perjury, for lying to the police about what really happened? Should that not be an arrestable offense? If you ask me, I say yes. What do y'all think? Should the girlfriend be arrested for lying? Because now you have 2 people coming out and saying that, yes, they were fighting, which actually makes sense. And even statistics point to the fact that lesbian couples fight a lot. They're usually physical with each other. But the fact that she took it out on her kid is just weird to me. The sexuality isn't the factor. Actually, I just proved to you that it is. Here's how sexuality is a factor, because maybe you missed this part. Statistics say that the most violent domestic relationships are between women. Lesbian relationships. They fight, they punch, they stab, they shoot. They are the most violent between each other. So that means that if you see a lesbian couple, there is a good chance that they have fought physically with each other. It doesn't mean all, and it doesn't mean every time. But what we can deduce from that is we can actually say that there is a good chance that they're lying. And the fact that both of them actually came out later on and admitted, yeah, we were fighting. They're emotional. Women are naturally emotional. It's not a bad thing, okay? It's an arrestable offense. So yes, thank you, John. I think that the girlfriend should be arrested. You say it's an arrestable offense. I think they both should be in jail. Okay? It's obstruction of justice. Thank you. Thank you. That's exactly what it is. Women usually know that there aren't very many consequences for them fighting. You can tell this because of the way that they behave in the street. You guys can go on to Facebook, into any type of groups or anything like that where they're sharing all these ratchet videos. Go to World Star Hip Hop and you can see that the majority of the fights that are viral, that are out there on the internet, are from whom? Women fighting women. Women beating the hell out of each other in groups, stomping on each other, stomping their heads, snatching their wigs out, stripping each other naked. And it's usually a bunch of either females or young boys out filming it and uploading it to the internet or going live. There are countless videos of women, mainly black women, fighting in the streets. After the club, I've seen, matter of fact, what's so crazy about this is back in the day when I was growing up, when I used to go to the club, the motherfuckers that used to be fighting out after the club usually used to be a lot of niggas. I've been out there plenty of times where shootouts have happened, stabbings have happened, people that got their brains busted up. It's usually men fighting. But you fast forward almost 20 years, and now it's damn near nothing but women fighting everywhere you turn around. It's some shit that you just can't make up. There's too much video evidence. I've tried to show the fights on my channel, but those videos tend to get flagged as inappropriate. So I can't even show you the evidence. You would just have to trust me. Just look the shit up. Now, the mother told investigators that she had been struggling with drinking and had been under a lot of stress and wasn't in her right state of mind, making excuses. When pressed on the attack, the mother, Lloyd, explained that she was mad about a fight that she had with her girlfriend. And she said, "I snapped." That's going to be used in court. So I continuously get people to hit me up on my Facebook page talking about, "Jay, I'm a family member of these people, and I would like to talk to you so I can explain to you the facts that you have that are incorrect. I watched your YouTube story, and the facts that you said were incorrect." And you know what's funny about all of these people that are talking about how incorrect I am? The information that I am using is going to be used in court. It is going to be admissible in court. So how wrong can I be if they're actually putting forth information that is going to be used as a fact? Affidavits and statements and evidence. But they want to tell me that what I'm saying is wrong. Most of this is not my opinion. Most of this is me making an opinion about the facts. That's where the difference is. You can not like my opinion, and I don't really care. Because my point is that all of this shit is not conducive to raising children. It is not a good idea to raise children in an environment that is not safe. And if the parents or the caretakers of these children are going to be fighting with each other, then guess what? It's not a good place for those kids to be. It's not a good environment. It's not healthy. And all those kids are going to learn is to grow up and do fuck shit. They're going to learn to fight. And all we're going to do is continue to keep reproducing this mindset, and it's going to get worse for everybody. Now, let me wrap this thing up. In that moment, "Were you trying to kill your son?" said an investigator who asked her about the charges. The mother paused and she said, "Yes, but I want my baby here." Her own words. Mom's fur baby said, "You are so right. I try my best to always be on the side of right, even though sometimes I'm wrong. But I believe that 99% of the time I'm right." She told investigators that raising her son alone has been difficult, and she admitted that she let her rage out at her son because of his disabilities. But do you have to raise them alone, or are you choosing to have children by niggas that ain't shit? Are you choosing? Is it not your body, your choice? Apparently that doesn't apply to her. Apparently it's not her body, not her choice. So she didn't have a choice but to bring this child into this world. Apparently she didn't have a choice in getting pregnant, having sex, unprotected sex. Apparently there was no option for her. Apparently the option for birth control did not exist 11 years ago. That's what she's trying to tell us. She's trying to tell us that some man out there raped her and forced this baby on her and forced her to go through pregnancy and forced her to keep this kid, even though they've had safe haven laws around for a while. But I guess that don't apply to this bitch, Itayvia. She says she wished heaven was the boy's home. When asked if she was trying to kill him, she said, "Yes, but I want my baby here." Now, if she's convicted of the attempted murder charge, she faces a maximum penalty in prison of 20 years. I think 20 years is about right. If she gets the maximum, no chance of parole, no chance of early release, give her the full 20 years. Hashtag snatch this bitch's ovaries. That way, when she comes out of jail, there's no opportunity for her to try to procreate ever again. She doesn't need to be around children ever again. Not in this life. How many of y'all agree with that? Hashtag TTO. She was also charged with 2 counts of assaulting a peace officer after allegedly punching and spitting on 2 police officers that tried to book her into jail. Now, are you guys ready for the news videos? Because I got some. We got about 219 people still here. Make sure you guys click that thumbs up. We're doing pretty well. Got a little bit more to tell you guys. In addition to the 2nd-degree attempted murder charge, the mother faces 2 counts of 4th-degree assault for allegedly attempting to punch an officer and spitting on another after her arrest. Now, she made her first court appearance on Wednesday, and at the hearing, her public defender, meaning she did not have any type of money for a real attorney, a private defense, her public defender requested 2 mental health evaluations because they think she's crazy. The lawyer by the name of Adrian McMahon said that the evaluations are necessary. There is a lot more going on in this case than what's being portrayed by the state in the complaint. She added that it was partly for the reason that she had asked the judge to order that Lloyd be evaluated by mental health professionals. Now, there was something wrong with this woman a long time ago, but guess what? She got to keep her kids, even though everybody already knew that she was crazy. The biological father probably knew she was crazy, and the girlfriend knew that she was crazy. She'd been with her for 3 years. But she got to keep those kids, and she got a chance to ruin these children's lives unsupervised. The 6-year-old boy told the officers that he awoke the morning to his older brother laughing and Lloyd saying, "This is not a joke, stop laughing," said the complaint. He said the exchange happened shortly after he heard his mom and stepmom fighting. He then watched his mom drag the 11-year-old boy off the top bunk and into the living room. When the 6-year-old boy followed a few minutes later, his brother wasn't there and Lloyd told him she threw him off the balcony, according to the charges. And the mother's next court date is scheduled for May 26th. Let's go ahead and show you guys the news videos. This is insane. Let's get it. Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without the authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use. It is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107. Here's the first video.
A mother has been charged with the attempted murder of her child. Court documents say 33-year-old Itayvia Lloyd threw her 11-year-old autistic son over a fourth-floor balcony on Monday. When police arrived to the building on Hampton Avenue, the boy was conscious but appeared to have both his legs broken and was bleeding from his mouth. He was taken to the hospital for emergency surgery. Court documents say Lloyd was mad about a fight she had with her girlfriend and that her rage made her want her son dead. Lloyd faces a maximum sentence of 20 years in prison.
Here's the next video.
11-year-old boy in serious condition at this hour after police say his mother threw him off the balcony of their fourth-floor apartment.
And Fox 9's Maury Glover is live in St. Paul right now. Maury, a very horrific situation there.
That's right. The boy's mother admitted to police she threw her son from the balcony, but what she hasn't told them is why.
It's very scary. It's heartbroken.
At the Union Flats apartment complex, an act as unexpected as it is unimaginable.
He's a baby. Well, he doesn't deserve that.
St. Paul police say someone in the building called 911 Monday morning to report an attempted suicide after seeing what they thought was a child jump from a fourth-floor balcony. When officers arrived, they found an 11-year-old boy on the ground with a broken leg and fractured jaw. Inside his apartment, officers learned his mother had pulled him from his bunk bed, dragged him to the balcony, and thrown him over.
We all want to know why this happened. We all want answers, but she hasn't provided any. She just told the investigators that she did this, and she didn't say why.
Investigators say the boy's 6-year-old brother and his mother's girlfriend were also in the apartment, but the 6-year-old wasn't hurt. Police called the experience emotionally scarring for the 11-year-old and gut-wrenching for the officers who responded to the scene.
These are tough calls, and our chief reached out to all 11 officers who were on scene and just wanted to thank them for their compassion, their kindness to everyone involved, and then offer them any kind of support that they might need.
Neighbors say their hearts go out to the boy and the rest of his family.
Anybody who could do that to their child is obviously really sick, and I just hope that everybody gets the help that they need.
Now, the boy's mother was arrested for aggravated assault and malicious punishment of a child. As for the boy, he is recovering at Regents Hospital, but he is expected to survive. Reporting live in St. Paul, Maury Glover, Fox 9 News.
A mother is in custody for alleged.
Want y'all to keep in mind that he fell 4 stories up. And even if people are just coming in just now, these videos will help you understand what actually happened. We got 2 more videos and then we're going to wrap up. Here we go.
A mother is in custody for allegedly throwing her 11-year-old son off the 4th-floor balcony of their apartment. It happened in the 700 block of Hampton Avenue in St. Paul about 8:40 this morning. A neighbor called police because she thought the boy had jumped. Kate Radix has more on how the boy is doing this evening.
St. Paul police say an 11-year-old boy was thrown off the top floor of this apartment complex in the St. Anthony Park neighborhood after his 33-year-old mother dragged him out of his bed outside and tossed him.
We're having trouble imagining any reason that this makes sense.
When officers arrived, the boy was conscious and breathing, but had serious injuries, including a fractured jaw, broken leg, and head injury. Inside the apartment unit, officers also found the boy's 6-year-old brother, who was not harmed. Their mother was arrested, and her girlfriend was also taken in for questioning. A motive is unclear.
Our investigators spent hours with the suspect this morning trying to figure out what caused this, what the motive was, and they haven't gotten there. She hasn't told them why she would do something like this.
Residents we spoke to that live in the apartment told us they are shocked by the incident. St. Paul Police Chief Todd Axtell personally called each responding officer at the scene to offer support.
Their mothers and fathers, their brothers or sisters, their aunts and uncles, they have children in their lives they love very much. So going to these calls where a child's been injured at the hands of their mother, it's really tough.
The boy was taken here to Regents Hospital, where he is currently being treated for several broken bones. Still, he is expected to survive. Reporting in St. Paul, Kate Raditz, WCCO 4 News.
Here's the next video. This is the last one.
As of this evening, the boy's mother has not been charged with a crime. She does not have a criminal history outside of minor traffic violations.
St. Paul police were called to the Union Flats apartment building at 8:40 Monday morning.
They found an 11-year-old who apparently had been thrown off a 4th-story balcony by his mother.
Police spokesman Steve Linder says someone who lives in the building originally called it in as an attempted suicide. But after interviewing the boy's 6-year-old brother, his mother, and her girlfriend, officers heard a much more sinister story.
They discovered that the mother had gone into the child's bedroom, dragged him out of his bunk bed, and threw him off the balcony.
So I was right about that, and I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I guessed that she went and grabbed him off the top bunk and dragged him out of the bed. I took a wild guess, and guess what? I was correct. Listen at this again, and then we're gonna wrap up. He said he grabbed him and dragged him.
Story.
They discovered that the mother had gone into the child's bedroom, dragged him out of his bunk bed, and threw him off the balcony. We don't know why. We don't know what could make someone do this or why she would do that.
Police say the mom is now in jail. The boy is being treated at Regents Hospital for several injuries, including a broken jaw and a broken femur.
Thankfully, he's expected to survive. We're all really happy about that.
Linder says the situation has been hard for many of their officers to deal with, many of them parents themselves. He says the chief has reached out to each of them personally to make sure they get the help they need.
We're glad that our officers were able to be there and show comfort and care and compassion for everybody involved, because these are tough calls. These are really tough calls for everybody.
I also reached out to the managers of the apartment building. In a statement, they say their thoughts are with this boy and his family, but since it's an ongoing investigation, they're not able to comment any further. Police still don't know why this happened, but say they're working to find out.
All right, now let's go ahead and wrap this thing up. So just so people know that the 6-year-old boy is in protective custody. And I hope that this woman nor the girlfriend ever gets a chance to see that 6-year-old boy. I admire that 6-year-old little boy for speaking up and saying what was right, what he saw. He was not partial just because it was his mama. He didn't lie for his mama, nor should he have. And I'm very proud of that little boy. He saw something and he said something. Can we get a hashtag see something, say something? This is a good example of that. And I'm very proud of that little boy. And whoever gets custody of him, or if he's in the state, then, you know, any custody besides in the custody of his mom is going to be a benefit to him. Okay. Now, this is actually a positive story. Guys, can y'all put a prayer hands up in the chat that God spared this baby's life and that he's going to be able to survive. He's going to need surgeries. It's probably going to cost money, but I'm sure that those people will figure that out and they'll get him taken care of. And I hope that he comes back strong. I hope that he survives, and I hope that he gets just as much therapy as he needs. To the 6-year-old boy, I hope that he thrives and that he survives and that he is okay and grows up to be something great. 20 years, to me, sounds about right. Some people are saying she should get life in prison. I think she should be castrated. 20 years is good for me. I'm just saying, if you're going to be fighting with your girlfriend, you should have threw your girlfriend out the window. I'm just saying. They're two terrible people, and I'm pretty sure that there was more bullshit that was probably going on that both of those lesbian broads are lying about. But we will never know because they're not going to tell us the truth. You cannot believe anything that comes out of the mouth of people like this. All right? I want to say thank you guys so much for coming through and listening to this story. We got prayer hands up in the chat. Thank you guys so much for coming through and listening to this stream. A positive story, finally. Somebody lived. Throw the book at her. Get her out of here. She's done as a parent. This is your boy DJ Just Jay. We are the AFC, where we advocate for children first. That's where our priority lies. We advocate for children first. Don't come at me and tell me that I have my facts wrong until you bring some facts to the table to dispute what I've said. All right? Thank you guys. Thank the AFC. From my heart to yours. From my heart to yours. I love you guys. Thank you guys. Y'all have a great night, and we'll see you on the next stream. That's the end of the stream. Peace.